Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will explain you how to get the data by using SQL stored procedure. I will explain you with the simple example where we will be having a screen contain a simple input text called customer ID. So based upon the customer ID entered by the user, so upon click of search, so we will be hitting the database by using SQL stored procedure, and post that we'll be getting the data from the database and populating on the screen. So let's get started how we can implement this particular scenario by using a SQL stored procedure in BAW. I already opened the process application. So quickly I'll create a screen which contain the customer ID as an input, and upon submission, so we will build a service which will call the SQL Server database by using a stored procedure. And once the service is got executed, whatever the result we will get it from the database, we will populate on the screen in the form of table. To implement this particular scenario, so we need a client-side human service. So I'll just click on the client-side human service. I name it as customer information. Yeah, so I name it as customer search form. Okay, so I created a client-side human service with the name customer search form. Okay, so when you see here, you can see the a single coach. So this coach I name it as get customer info. Okay, so if I open this coach, here you can see only we have is OK button. So I delete this one. Now I will add a, I won't be using a coach views here. Directly I will add a component on the screen. So to search, to enter the customer ID, so we need a text box, so that we call it as a uh, uh, input text, which is plain text I will be adding here. So, and this plain text, what it will do, it will take customer ID as an input. So that's the reason I name this as a customer ID. Okay. So upon entering and upon customer ID entered, so I just click on submit button. Okay. For that, we need a submit button or a search button. So for that, I'll add a search button here. Search button. Okay. And I'll go to the configuration and change the color, which is primary. Okay. Now this is ready. So on click of this search, so we will be hitting the database and getting the details and showing in the form of table. So for that, I need a table control. I'll go to the palette and drag and drop the table here. Okay. So this table again, I will make it as configuration and appearance. I'll change it to primary. Okay. And so for this, I need to display the details, right? So I'll show you the database table name. So if you see, I have a table which contain the customer ID, customer first name, middle name, last name, and address and account number. So with these names, I'll be creating a columns in the table. So for that, first one will be the customer ID. So how many columns I wanted? One, two, three, four, five, six. Six column I wanted. Okay. So for that, I'll be adding a display text. Display text is nothing but output text. So which is six columns I wanted. Okay. Just paste it six times. You can copy and paste it in the six time. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. The first one I name it as customer ID. Customer ID. And second one is first name. And the third one is middle name, and fourth one is last name. So followed by we have a address column in the database. So I added as address and account number. Okay. So now the table is ready. We will be entering the address, and upon click, so the data should get fetched from the database by using a stored procedure, and it should show on the screen. So that is what expected. So quickly I'll run the screen. So if you see here, our screen simple, looks like this. So customer ID is taking as input and search button. Upon search button, so we have to fetch the data now. Okay. For that, we have to build the SQL service where we'll be calling the database by using a stored procedure. Okay. Before that, I'll change the table name as customer details. Okay. And also we have to do a data mapping as well for this table. So for that, so I'll be taking this customer ID as input, right? So for that, I need to create a one variable, private variable. So I change it. I just name it as customer ID as a variable, which is a string type. Okay, and I will do a data mapping. So which is I'll go to the customer ID control and finding and do a data mapping. So now customer ID mapping is done. So similar way, I need to do a data mapping for this table. Okay, this is actually a customer info detail. So I have already created a one business object with the customer detail a business object. So I'll create one more new variable with the customer details. Okay, and it is a type list. So I have already created one of the BO, which is customer detail BO. So if I open right this particular business object, which is contains a customer ID, customer first name, middle name, last name, address, and account number. Okay, so these are the uh, variable names which is similar to the database columns names. Okay, so I need to do a mapping now. So and also this will be a type of list. And now I'll go back to the table and I'll map it. So for the table, I selected the table and I mapped the customer details. Okay, and individual fields I need to map customer detail dot current item dot customer ID, and similar way I need to map for customer first name, last name, and so other fields. First name I mapped current item dot middle name, last name, address, and account number. Okay, the mapping is done. So the variable mapping is done. So before that, so I need to initialize this customer detail business object. For that, before going to the coach, I will add a client side script. So I will initialize it. Okay. So I name it as init here. So first thing, the customer ID local variable I need to initialize. So which is a private type. Then customer detail business object variables I need to initialize, which is list type. So that's the reason I'll initialize with square brackets. Okay. The initialization is done. So now we have to build a database service to get the detail. And once we get the detail, we have to assign the data to customer uh, customer detail business object. So that data will be populated in the screen. So for that, I will build a service which is database service. So I name it as get customer details using ESP. Okay, ESP is nothing but stored procedures. Okay, I create it So whenever we talk about database service, right, we have to follow the three steps. One is we have to write a query, uh, which is any query, any type of query. So and next one we will be executing the query, and third one we will be parsing the data. So parsing the data is nothing but whatever the data is written from the database. So we have to parse it to the BAW variables. Okay, these are the three steps we'll be following. So for that, I'll drag and drop three script here. Okay, the first one I mentioned like uh, it is set stored proc. Okay, so here we will be setting a stored proc. The next one it is SQL execute ESP stored proc. Okay, the next one, third one will be the parse result. Okay, so now for this one, um, to complete this one, so to perform this SQL operation, we need a variables now. Okay, so that is I'll be creating a private variable which is SQL statement, and it is a type of again SQL statement. This type of variable, this business object is already available in the system data toolkit. Same variable I am using it here. Okay. The next one, so I need to take a customer detail as an input as well as the output. So for that, customer details I'll create, and it is a type of list. Then and it is a BO customer detail BO. Okay. Similar way, same business object, I'll take a output. Okay, done. Again, it is a type of list. Okay. So now, so here we will be setting the stored procedure. So for that, so we will be setting a stored procedure in the SQL statement business object. So for that we have to initialize it. Then next one we have to write we have to um, set the stored procedure. So for that statement.sql here we will be setting the stored procedure. Okay, and we will be passing, we are getting the data based upon the customer ID. So same again, I'll be taking the customer ID as a in, because the user will enter at the screen level, so that will be passed in a where condition. Okay, that's the reason I'm taking customer ID as an input. So now let it be stored procedure is a blank now, because we have to create a stored procedure in the database. So before mentioning it here. Okay, so I go back to the database here. If you see, so this is a customer table we have. So for this, I need to write a select query. So for that purpose, uh, we have to, I have created a stored procedure here. If you see, create a stored procedure, which is get customer details is the stored procedure name, and I'm taking the customer ID as the input, and it is a length of 50 characters. It's a type of string. So then the stored procedure will be having we are beginning the stored procedure, and we are written the we are written the select query here. What we are fetching as part of select query, customer ID, first name and middle name, and so other parameters we are fetching it from the database from the customer table, where customer ID we are passing in the where condition. So this one will return um, uh, the details from the customer table based upon the customer ID. Okay, so for that I will create this stored procedure. So execute. So command executed. So if I refresh this database, so if I go to the programmability and stored procedure, so here you can see get customer details stored procedure has been created. Okay, so now I'll use the same stored procedure in the BAW. So for that, I'll be writing exe and stored procedure name followed by the parameter name which we are passing equal to customer ID we are passing. So customer ID followed by question mark. Okay. This particular okay customer ID and in the question mark. So only one parameter we are passing. So for that we have to set the parameter now. tw dot local dot statement dot parameters, which is a list type. So I'm initializing it. Then individual first array I need to initialize the SQL statement dot parameters of zeroth element is equal to flower brackets as it's a single object. Then same thing. So now I will be setting the value and type. Okay, type is equal to varchar and value we need to set it. So for that value is equal to tw dot local dot customer ID. So customer ID is the value. I'll keep it a variable name as same. So just I change the variable name customer ID and now customer ID I'm passing it. Okay. So now the SQL query is ready now. SQL stored procedure query is ready now. So we have to execute this stored procedure now, right? So for that I'll move to the second step. So here in the implementation, I need to change to the link service and I need to attach a stored procedure executor. Okay, so for that, if you type stored procedure, so here we have something like a service which is SQL call stored procedure. Okay, SQL statement. This one I need to attach it here. So once you attach it, right, it will ask for certain parameter as input. So for that, SQL statement is we need to pass it in the SQL statement and return type we have to mention. So return type, what I'm expecting is customer detail BO. So with this particular BO contain customer name, last name, ID, everything, right? So that's the reason I'm expecting this particular BO as an output. So I just mentioned the same thing. I need to mention a data source. So to get this data source we configure at the VAS console level. Same data source we have to use it here to call a uh, database. Yeah, which will be for me it is JDBC common BPM. Okay. Then so we have to do a output mapping. So for output mapping again I'll be getting a results. Um, okay, just I'll create a result mapping. Just I create a results. This result will be again for us customer details. Customer detail PO and it is a type of list. Okay. The mapping is done. So now I need to parse this result. If the database returns any data post execution, so that result I need to pass to the PPM object. Okay. So that we can show it on the screen. So for that I will be writing condition like tw dot local dot results. We receive a result, it's a null check. If tw dot local dot result length is greater than 0, then what you need to do? So I'll be assigning the result to uh, customer details. This result I'll assign to the customer detail. Okay, so that's all. Let's test this um, service. So for that, I'll keep customer detail as default. Then I'll take one of the customer ID from the database. So I'll take the first one from the database and I'll keep it as default. Okay, here, done. Now let's test it whether it's working or not. So here if you see the stored procedures got executed and we got a result here. Okay, these are the data we are getting from database. Okay, then let's check whether it is parsing or not. Okay, now the result what we got from the database, so that is copied to the customer data. So here it is copied. Okay, let's integrate this particular service into the client side human service. Okay, I'll just quickly shift it to the client side human service. Before that, I'll remove this has default values. So done. Um, I'll open the client side human service, which is get customer search. Okay. So here I'll drag and drop that service, which is get customer details from using SP. Okay. That is stored procedure. I drag and drop. So I'll connect this particular sequence flow. I'll just delete the sequence flow. So upon click of search button, so it should call the database by using store procedure, and it should return the it should return the results, and that result will be shown in the form of table in the screen. Okay, for that I already have added the service. Now now I'll be doing a mapping, variable mapping. So for that, customer detail, I'll map it customer details, customer ID, I'll map it to the customer ID, and result, whatever I'm getting it, I map to the customer details. Okay. So let's run now this service. So I quickly run this service. So just run button. Here, if you see, the screen is showing something like this. So now I'll take a customer ID from the database. So which is I'll take it as like 647744. This is the value I'll take it. Now I'll enter this ID, customer ID, click on search. Okay, here if you see, the data has been populated by it data has been populated from the database. Similar way, I'll try for other IDs. So I just change it to uh, 2323 ID, and if I click on search, the data got changed now. Okay. So that's how we are calling this. We are using stored procedure in BAW. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe.